In the heart of the Tanami Desert, where the sun blazes like a molten shield and spinifex grasses flicker like tongues of fire, a Warlpiri family lived beside a sacred waterhole called Yurlpu. Its waters, kissed by the heavens, shimmered with the reflections of a star-blazed sky, holding secrets whispered by the ancestors. The family's 11 brothers, led by the bold Jupurrurla, were renowned hunters, their lithe figures darting through mulga scrubs, spears flashing like lightning as they tracked kangaroo and goanna. Their laughter, bright and wild, rolled across the dunes like a desert breeze, weaving joy into the land. Their younger sister, Jupurrurla, was their heart's keeper, her hands crafting intricate mats from pandanus and spinifex, each pattern a story of the Milky Way's dance, her fingers threading the cosmos into every weave. When their mother, a gentle keeper of songs, passed into the Dreamtime, their father, Jupurrurla, a man with eyes like deep desert pools, took a new wife. Nampijinpa came to them cloaked in swirling dust, a wind spirit with a voice sharp as flint and eyes that glinted like the thorns of acacia. Her heart, cold as the desert night, burned with jealousy for the bond between Jupurrurla and her brothers under a blood-red moon. When the air crackled with unseen power, Nampijinpa stood atop a dune, her arms raised to the sky. Chanting forbidden words that twisted the air like smoke, she cursed the 11 brothers. A gust howled, and their bodies shuddered, twisting and stretching until they stood as 11 majestic emus, their feathers gleaming like polished ochre under the starlight. With a mournful cry they fled, their long legs carrying them over the dunes, vanishing into the night's vast embrace. Jupurrurla awoke to silence, her brother's laughter gone, the camp empty but for the tracks of emus leading into the desert. Her heart, heavy as a grinding stone, led her to Yurlpu's edge, where she knelt, tears falling into the water. The ripples parted, and the emu ancestor rose, its form shimmering like a mirage, its eyes ancient and kind. "Your brothers are bound by Nampijinpa's curse," it said, its voice like the rustle of feathers. "Only your silent weaving can free them. Seek the stinging spinifex, tougher than nettle, and weave 11 sacred mats. Speak not a word, or the curse will hold forever." Jupurrurla nodded, her resolve hardening like sun-baked clay, and set out into the Tanami's fiery expanse. Her journey was a trial of spirit and flesh. The desert sun scorched her skin, and the winds whipped sand into her eyes. But Jupurrurla pressed on, guided by the starlit tracks of her emu brothers, their footprints glowing faintly in the night. She gathered the stinging spinifex, its barbs piercing her hands until her fingers bled like the red earth beneath her feet. At hidden soaks and clay pans, she wove in solitude, her mats taking shape with patterns of stars, emus, and the sacred paths of the Dreamtime. The desert watched, its creatures bearing witness. The parenti lizard basking on rocks nodded in respect. The wedge-tailed eagle soaring above guarded her from afar. Yet Nampijinpa's malice lingered. Sensing Jupurrurla's progress, the wind spirit summoned a tempest, a roaring wall of sand that tore at the mats, scattering strands across the dunes. Jupurrurla, her lips sealed, gathered each piece, her hands trembling, but her spirit unyielding. The mats glowed faintly with ancestral power as she wove on. Years passed, marked by the cycles of stars and blooming of desert flowers after rare rains. Jupurrurla, now a woman with eyes deep as the waterhole, returned to her camp, her silence a mystery to her people. They whispered of her strangeness, some calling her touched by spirits, others urging her to speak. A young hunter, Jangala, drawn to her quiet strength, offered her shelter and food, his heart kind but puzzled by her mute resolve. Nampijinpa, disguised as a twisted desert shrub, crept close, hissing doubts into the camp's ears, urging them to cast Jupurrurla out. But Jupurrurla wove on, her mats now 10 in number, each a masterpiece of starlight and sacrifice, their edges humming with the songs of the ancestors. On the night of a great corroboree, as the camp danced under a sky ablaze with stars, Jupurrurla worked on the 11th mat, her fingers raw, her breath steady. Nampijinpa, desperate, unleashed a final storm, lightning cracking the sky as dust devils tore at the camp. Jupurrurla stood firm, her mat nearly complete, its patterns pulsing like a heartbeat. As the storm peaked, she laid the final strand, and a great silence fell. From the desert's edge, 11 emus emerged, their feathers catching the firelight as they ran to the waterhole. Jupurrurla placed the mats before them, and the air shimmered. Feathers fell like autumn leaves, and the brothers stood as men once more, their faces radiant with gratitude. Nampijinpa, the eldest, embraced her, though his left arm bore a single feather, a lingering mark of the curse's trace, a reminder of their trial. The camp, awed by the miracle, gathered around Yurlpu, their songs rising to the stars. Nampijinpa's spirit exposed, shrieked as the ancestors' light banished her to the desert's edge, where she became a lonely willy-willy, forever spinning in exile. Jupurrurla, her silence broken, spoke her brothers' names, her voice a melody that wove the camp into unity. Jangala, now her promised, stood by her side, his eyes shining with pride. The story of the 11 Emu Brothers became a Dreamtime song, carried on the winds of the Tanami. It taught the Warlpiri that love, rooted in the land's heart, endures as the fiercest storms. Jupurrurla's mats, kept at Yurlpu, glowed under the moonlight, a testament to her sacrifice. And when emus crossed the dunes, their tracks were said to trace her weaving, binding the desert's children to the stars forever. Careful, brother. I want to encourage you, but I must point out that it isn't humble to stand before the Lord and say, I did not eat of that fruit. Instead, we have been blessed through grace. We have some knowledge, but not all of it. And we are to use it too, not bury it. My Father knows my heart. I might see the devil, but I will hold fast to my Father, the Lord.